This is a toxic soup that we are breathing every day, and people should be very concerned about that. My name is Erica Smithwick. I am a professor of geography at Penn State. So right now we are experiencing a dense smoke event from the wildfires that are happening in northern Minnesota and Canada, and that smoke is drifting over into our neck of the woods, and it is causing serious health issues for many people in the eastern U.S. Some of the health issues associated with this dense smoke are the exposure to particulate matter. We call that the fine particulates that are in the air, PM 2.5. You might have heard that in the media. What that refers to is the size of the particles in the air that are really, really microscopic. They're actually thinner than your slice of human hair, a piece of human hair. And that can get inhaled in our lungs. It can get into our bloodstream, and it can cause everything from mild to serious health conditions. And on the mild side, it can cause headaches, sore throats, nausea. I experienced it myself this morning walking here. But it also can cause very serious health effects, particularly for people who have cardiovascular or respiratory issues. Recent research has shown that there have been large increases in visits to hospitals, emergency rooms, for people with having those underlying health conditions. We also have had recent research around the relationship between air pollution, including pollution from smoke, and dementia. So there are these really emerging health issues, and more research is confirming that exposure to wildfire smoke is exacerbating them. The toxic smoke that we have in the air is really a soup of chemicals. It's not just particulate matter, but it's things that are cancer-causing chemicals like benzene. These are things we associate with cigarettes or gasoline that we put into our cars. They're certainly not something you and I want to be breathing every day. And this is coming not just from the burning of the fuels that we're seeing in the forests burning right now, but also increasingly as these fires are coming into more urban and suburban areas. They're burning through homes, they're burning through things we have in our backyard, propane tanks, the paint in our homes, the sofas and the materials that are made out of plastics. All that chemistry is really getting into the air.
So right now there are a lot of fires all over the place, but especially in Canada. And the wind pattern is moving the pollution into our region. And along with that, we have a heat dome happening as well. And so that's affecting us because it concentrates the air over our region. It creates a stagnant air mass, and it's pushing the pollution into our area. My name is Miriam Freedman. I'm a professor of chemistry at Penn State University. And so what happens when you have particulate matter that's less than 2.5 microns in diameter, which is about a 20th of the width of a human hair, so incredibly small, it can get into the deepest parts of our lungs, and we can't get it out. And so that results in inflammation. And then if that happens in a chronic way, then that can lead to a disease. The recommendation depends on exactly how bad the air quality is. So we have these ratings of like the air quality is good or moderate or unhealthy for sensitive groups or unhealthy or hazardous, etc. And so there are different things to do at each of those different levels. In general, it's never a bad idea to wear a mask. The same ones that we wore during the COVID pandemic, these N95 masks. They're going to block those particulates from being breathed into our system, so they're going to help protect our health. As the air quality gets worse, it's important to limit outdoor activity. It's important, maybe to exercise indoors rather than outdoors to prevent you from breathing in so many particles. It's also important, it's very hot. Not everyone has air conditioning, and so it's important to make sure that your house is also isolated from the outdoor air. So use of fans is better than opening windows in this case. And then I also think it's important to look after the people in our community who are most vulnerable to illness from these particulates. So that would include the elderly, young children, people with underlying health conditions. So in order to tell what's going on, the best resource is the Air Now app from or website from the EPA. And so you can see both what the current conditions are and the forecast. So right now for our area, the forecast today is a little bit better than yesterday. Yesterday we reached almost 400 ppmv of particulates in our air, which is really quite unheard of in this area. In Chicago, it was at a particulate level of 500, which was equal at that time to Delhi, which is incredible. So to go back to the question, not only does the Air Now app tell you the current forecast for today, but it will also tell you what's likely to occur over the next few days. I think that these forest fires in remote areas, such as in Canada, but we also see these occurring in the west of the US as well. I think that they are sort of a new normal with climate change. I expect that this is an event that will happen most summers from now on.
Wildfires are increasing right now across the United States. We've had an 8-fold increase in wildfire events over the past decade, higher in many areas, particularly in Canada and the boreal forest systems. And that those smoke events are now carrying into the eastern U.S. We had one several years ago. We're having one now. These are likely to increase as climate changes. We're getting these drier conditions, drought conditions that are drying out the fuels. They become much more combustible and are leading to these extreme mega fire events. So when these events happen, they are moving through the jet stream, and the jet stream moves from west to east. And so it is carrying with it not just the normal weather systems, but also all of this smoke from our more western neighbors and northerly neighbors into the eastern United States.